respect this bluff here by Sam Greenwood.
Soyza's excellent. He
Wow,
makes the call.
He does it.
You got it.
Amazing.
What a call.
Pocket sevens is good. Michael Soyza is the champion. That was a $400,000 heads-up match in one hand.
Wow, what a call.
So Michael, let's cast your mind back to Jeju. It's heads up, you're against Sam Greenwood in the 500k 6 max no limit hold'em event, and it was just the one hand heads up, and it was a fantastic hand. You made a huge call. Would you talk us through the hand?
Sure, I'll do my best. Yeah.
Let's kick us off.
We're ready for heads up in event number 3, the 6 max $64,000 buy-in USD.
So going into the heads up, you had a 2-1 chip lead.
Yep.
Had you played much with Sam before?
A little bit, but not heads up. So we both didn't know that much about each other's heads up game. And yeah, first hand, so we're still trying to feel each other and see how it goes. Yeah, he's a good player. So anyway, he starts with a limp, right? I think he was 25 bigs deep, effective. And I expect him to limp like pretty much almost 100% of his range, or maybe like 80% or something along these lines. I have pocket sevens, which is pretty good heads up, especially 25 big blinds deep. I'm happy to just raise and get it in. I make it 4 big blinds, and he has like 25 big blinds, so there's a big portion in his stack. In hindsight, maybe I would have preferred to make it 5 big blinds because there's a 50% ante. But yeah, so I expect him to shove a lot of his pairs, good broadways, a lot of ace highs. But I also expect him to flat a reasonable amount of hands, a lot of like middling suited hands, Jack 9 off, Queen 9 off, suited kings, suited queens, all these kinds of hands, which are not good enough to shove, but definitely worth a call.
He's going to call here.
Sam Greenwood likes to play really small pots when he plays heads up.
So pre-flop, when he just calls your raise, is that almost the worst case scenario? Did you either want to take it there or have him shove?
It's fine if he calls. Sevens still plays pretty well post flop, so it's okay.
You feel comfortable out of position with the sevens?
Sure, because stacks are pretty shallow, so it's easy to get the stacks in, so you're not too worried. But not a good flop for me.
Wow, look at this flop. Greenwood flops an open-ended straight draw. Soyza an underpair to 2 cards.
Flop comes 8-10 of diamonds and 3 of clubs. And now I don't feel too great about my hand because now there's 2 overcards and he connects a lot with his board, with the hands that he limp calls, right? So I elect to check.
Soyza's going to check. You can't blame him. This is a pretty tough spot.
At this point, I still would call 1 bet if he bets, depending on the size. If he bets big, I probably have to fold. But plan is to check, call a small bet, and then evaluate the turn.
Greenwood checks it back. Comes a turn card. It's an 8.
But when the 8 pairs on the turn, things are slightly better because now he has less pairs, which beat me. He could have trips for sure, but I decided to bet and deny some equity from some high cut hands that still have reasonable equity against my hand.
I really like this bet from Soyza.
Yeah, you got to protect your hand, get some value. Greenwood most likely would bet a 10 in position. With 2 8s out there, it makes it unlikely for Greenwood having an 8, so I think it's a safe bet. Greenwood actually has an open-ended straight draw, and he's got position.
He has a lot of reasons to assume that his 9 might even be good. I think he's definitely going to assume his Jack is good as well.
And when he calls, he has tons of draws, tons of like high card hands, maybe even some weak ace highs, flush draws. I don't have any diamonds, so I don't block any flush draws, gut shots, yeah.
So at that point, you feel you've got the best hand. He's on some kind of draw.
It is very probable that I have the best hand. I might be just like completely dead to 2 outs, but or maybe even drawing dead, but it's unlikely, that's all. So like I expect him to call a reasonable amount of time and a lot of draws, high cards, gut shots, pairs of course, hands that beat me. I expect him to bet most 10s on the flop because of the stack size, so he just bets and gets it in most of the time. But I think he just checks some crappy suited 10s maybe, But if he has 10, just too bad, right? So anyway, I bet he calls, and then the river comes the king of clubs.
River card is a king, so Soyza still has 8s and 7. Greenwood 0% to win unless he bluffs Soyza off of the hand.
Not a great card for me. It's not quite a blank because he does have some suited kings which have a flush draw and call, and spike a king on the river, and maybe even some king high hands. But I did expect him to shove most of the good king high broadways pre-flop. So that narrows it down a little bit, but definitely he still has a lot of king X of diamonds, which just didn't call. And I checked because I didn't really see much point in betting because there's no hand that calls, which I get value from.
So he's going to check, try to get the showdown. Greenwood, Jack 9. This pot is so big, he can't just let this go and just check it back.
He goes into the tank.
He needs to bet something. Otherwise, he's giving up too much.
Yeah, the king is a pretty troublesome card for him, though. Like, what is he actually betting here? Would he bet a weak 10 for value, or?
Yeah.
Is there anything you're reading into the time he's taken here? Is there any physical things you're seeing?
Not really, no. I think against really good players, there's not many physical tells or timing tells, so you just kind of have to disregard this aspect. Especially some of them might even give you reverse tells and screw you up. So best just look at the hand from a theoretical perspective and go with that. And he shoves, and then it's time to think whether my hand is good enough to call, right?
So the thing is, I think the most likely hand he can represent is an 8. It's hard to represent because there's 2 8s out there already. Wow, he shoves all in.
So when I check, I mean, the pot is 3.2 million, he has 3.8 million. I expect him to shove a lot. He's a very capable player, and he definitely has enough bluffs. So he does what I was hoping he checks, obviously, but I expect him to shove a lot.
This is the very first hand of heads up. Greenwood is representing 8 and only an 8 right now.
So instantly, is there like an instinct that says, hey, that doesn't feel right?
No, it felt right because I think this is how he should play the hand. I really think he should be shoving very often on this river, right? Because based on my bet size and the line that I took, my range is pretty much capped. I don't have any really strong hands. I might trap sometimes with a full house, but I might bet these hands on the river as well instead of checking. So I definitely expect him to shove a lot on the river when I check to him.
We've seen Soyza make a big hero call against Ivan, and it was correct earlier. Can he make one more hero call?
And now I just have to evaluate whether my hand is good enough to call. I block some of his value, which is like the 7-8 suited, but I also block some bluffs like the 9-7 suited. But he still has tons of gut shots, Queen 9 off, Jack 9 off, I don't know, 6-9 suited maybe, I'm not sure.
If he calls, it's all over immediately.
And if he somehow spiked the king, I definitely give him credit for shoving on this river. But in the end, I just look at the pot size, like 3.2 million, and he shoves for 3.8. And there's this thing called minimum defense frequency, and I think 7s is in the part of the range that I should be calling with.
Soyza is really thinking about it. He knows you got an 8 or you don't.
Is there anything about the size of the situation that is playing into your mind? Your head's up, this is a call for $400,000 US. Does that come into your mind, or is it just another poker hand?
It did not come into my mind at all. It's just another poker hand. So I was just trying to play the hand as best as I could and hopefully make the right decision. Sometimes, even though you make the right decision, you might still lose. So I believe that sometimes you just have to call and lose. So I just decided to call.
Gotta respect this bluff here by Sam Greenwood.
Soyza's an excellent. He
Wow,
makes the call.
He does it.
You got it.
Amazing.
What a call.
Pocket
Wow.
7s is good. Michael Soyza is the champion. That was a $400,000 heads-up match in one hand.
Wow, what a call.
Thank goodness in this case, yeah, it was the right call and he had a bluff, so yeah.
What was the feeling like when you made that call?
I'm just happy I was right, You look like the biggest donkey or the greatest player in the world. The difference is just whether you're right or wrong, right? So yeah. But I thought I made the call that was right, and I would have been okay if I lost as well, yeah.
What a fantastic hand.
That is amazing. Michael Soyza wins event number 3, the $64,000 six-max event for $1.45 million. Another win from Michael Soyza. He's been having a killer year.
And that was your biggest win so far in your career. How much did it mean to win the event, win the trophy?
Quite a lot. It's a lot of money. I've been playing these Super Heroes for a while and I haven't won any of them since before that, so it feels good to finally win one.
Well, it was a fantastic call, a great win, and thanks for taking us through it.
Thank you, no problem. Yep, my pleasure.